Hi, my name is Kenny T. On my moment of the this week, we are picking the winners for the Guess Who segment of the Kenny T One-on-One podcast. So my team is putting together all the correct entries and we are picking the winners. Now, the winners are walking away with those beautiful hampers courtesy of MTN. Remember, MTN is one of our sponsors and MTN is everywhere you go.
So Ngosa is going to go ahead and give us a draw for the first name. So Mutagingen Mwape, Mwape now in a hamper courtesy of MTN by Kenny T One-on-One podcast. So congratulations to you, Mwape. You're the name that's been drawn first from today's draw. Congratulations to you. You get to walk away with a bucket hat, a t-shirt, and either a flask nangumaga. And our second winner, final, second and last, okay, is Lamson Sakala. Yes, congratulations to you, Langson. So we do have two winners today. We have Mwape M. Mtonga and Langson Sakala. So bataging and memenet now winner Mahampazai from the Kenny T One-on-One podcast, also from MTN. Yes, so what is it, nation? T-shirt, marker, or a board, plus a bucket hat. Yes. Okay, so that was it. We'd like to say thank you to everyone that joined this live, and please don't forget to watch.
Hello and welcome to the Kenny T One-on-One podcast. This week, we're privileged to host a pastor, a businessman, and a media personality. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Yatu Tea, Abalea Carpooling, and MTN, everywhere you go. Pastor Jimmy K, welcome to the Kenny T One-on-One podcast.
I've been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Really? Have you been following?
Yeah, of course. From day one, like from your first episode.
Yeah.
Like I've seen how these podcasters, transition to what it is.
Yeah.
When you didn't have sponsors started coming in. I'm like, okay, Kenny T is making money now. But for you, it didn't take long. Like just a few episodes of seeing sponsors. I'm like, oh, okay. What did he do, man? Who did he bribe? But hey, it is what it is. I mean, you're a legend in this thing, so
it is what it is. As a matter of fact, when we set out to start the podcast, we ran, I think, for 5 months without talking to anybody about sponsorship. Because I think what we wanted to do was to grow the brand, and we didn't want to go and tell a story to say this is how it's going to be.
Yeah,
we wanted you as a would-be sponsor to watch it first, so we have an easier conversation.
Proof of concept is already there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pastor Jimmy K.
Yeah.
I want to start with something a little different. I'm told you've never drunk, you've never smoked, none of these things.
None of these things. Look. Not that the people that do these things, I'm any better than them. For me, I think it's just life choices.
Yeah.
Life choices. Really. It's as simple as that. Not that because I don't smoke, I am better than those that smoke. No. I just made a choice that I would not smoke.
But there's stages in life when you're growing up, peer pressure, what.
Yeah.
There's a period where you try out some of these things.
Unfortunately for me, I was forced to be an adult at a very tender age. So there are certain things that I didn't do that my fellow young people were doing because I was taking care of myself. I was, doing responsible things at a very tender age because of just my upbringing. So there are a lot of things that I didn't do when I was younger. Yeah. So
Okay, I get it. So let's start from the beginning. What were you born? How many years ago?
I'm 42.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What? I look too fresh for 42?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you do.
Thank you. Yeah, 42 years ago, Matero. I was born in Matero, did my then we used to call it Wall of Fair. Yeah, that was like nursery school. So I did it in
You go to that community hall.
Yes. So for me, Wall of Fair was at a UCZ church. That's where I did my nursery. Then later on, I did my grade 1, grade 2, Chitanda Basic, and Mulongoti in Matero. If you're very familiar with those schools, those schools. Then later on, around 1991, my mother passed on.
Sorry.
So that in a way disrupted my education and my life altogether, because those days issues of property grabbing were
No,
very,
it was
very,
serious.
very, it was
Yeah.
serious, man. So what they would do is that they'll grab everything, and the person that grabs the majority of the property, they would also give them the child. But for me, that person was my mother's aunt, my grandmother. She lived in the village. So from 1991 to 1995, I lived in the village. Yes.
Where?
So there's a place called Kembe Farm Institute. It's about 2 hours drive from Lusaka. So that is where my mother's relatives have a farm. Even to this day, they have a farm there. So yeah, so from 1990 to 1995, so I had to now forget about all the Lusaka schooling and start schooling in a village. So from grade 2 to about grade 6, I was in a village. So I was taking care of cattle. I was doing everything that a village boy would do.
So was this a case of? Also, I've heard of situations where a parent dies and maybe there's a house, and someone only has the interest of the house, but then they say, "Twalasenda kumono omwana." Was it a similar?
Yes. So what happened was my mother's immediate young brother sold our house. Then of course my grandmother and other relatives, grabbed what they could grab. Then of course this wonderful lady, my grandmother, I'm grateful for her. I was privileged to have lived with her later on after I was an adult. She took care of me. I think she took care of the responsibilities, but of course it was in a village. So it meant
There's only so much you can do.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So it meant that I had to walk 25, 30 kilometers every morning going to school without shoes. But of course, the typical village setup. But for me, all that is something that I'm grateful for because it prepared me for the life to come. Because I believe that if I could survive a village life, look, what people complain about here in town, it's chicken feed. Because, it was very harsh. A lot of harsh life lesson that I learned living in a village with my relatives.
Yeah. Did you, obviously life became very different, from what you were used to. But when you're growing up now in the village and, you're doing everything else that, a boy growing up in the village does, what kind of a mindset did you have? Did you really think you'd get out of it? Or did it push you to aspire to be better?
So, one of the things that, despite me living in a village, one of the things that I was very good at, I was very bright in school. I was very intelligent in school. So for me, that set me apart. So when everyone else was, going to look after cattle, for me, it was school. So they could see to say, look, if we kept this boy here, I think we are wasting his potential.
Yeah.
So later on, my grandmother started looking for my father because all this time I didn't know who my father was. Yes, I was raised by a single mother.
Okay.
So now
before you proceed, what did your mother tell you about your father?
Look, now that I'm grown, the way I approach these issues, it's with a lot of care because sometimes you find that two parents who have issues, they can either poison the kids against the other parent, or they can just block the parent completely. In my case, my mother just blocked the man. So he couldn't have access to me. He didn't know why I was. So she didn't really necessarily say bad things about him. She didn't even discuss about him. So for me, I grew up just knowing that the only parent that I had was my mother. Then of course, growing up with my uncles. So around that time, my grandmother started looking for my father. So she came to Lusaka, looked for him, eventually found him. My father was running a construction company. She told him, look, you have a son. Your son is very brilliant. Here are his grades. And we feel that, him living in the village, we're wasting his potential. So it would be very nice if maybe we can start taking care of him. As it would happen, my father obliged, but he had already married another woman. So now it was a conflict of how do I now integrate this son into this family?
Into this family, yeah.
So it put him in a very awkward position as a man. But I'm grateful that my father's family, my aunties, came to the fore to explain the situation to my stepmother, to say, look, he's a Kumwenda. This man carries this man's blood. It was a little bit, it was a little bit cumbersome. But eventually I started living with him. To this day, a decision that I'm grateful to him, that he made this decision to get me off the village and bring me back to town for me to pursue my education and eventually to be the kind of a man that I am. Because he had an option. If he wanted, he could have just said, look, you take care of your boy. I'll take care of my family. But the man was gracious enough to say, look, he's my son. I'll take care of him. It was not easy for him. But being young, I grew up having a very, very... I had a lot of things against him because I was wondering, look, I lived 5 years in the village. Where were you? You are here. You've got a good family. You are a very well-to-do man. You led me to suffer and all that. I was very bitter. I had a lot of bitterness towards him. Not until, I think, a couple of years where me and him had to iron out our differences. Unfortunately, we had to do it on a TV show. It was very messy.
On a TV show?
Yeah, there was a TV show called My Father and I. Jerox was presenting it. It was very raw. To this day, a lot of people think I was unfair to him having, those kind of issues being discussed in public. But to me, it brought a lot of healing to the relationship that I had with him.
So wait a minute. So how did the producers of this show know about your situation with your father?
Well, I think
then he accepted to come and sit on the show.
Yes, he did. I sat down with him. I told him, look, there's this show, this is a concept. It's a show where a son and a father will have to talk about very uncomfortable things. Boom, boom, boom. But I don't think they were ready for the rawness of the show. So it was very raw, and a lot of people thought it was scripted. No, it was very raw because it was coming from a place where there was a lot of raw emotions and bitterness and hurt, and also not understanding, what this man was going through. Now that I'm older, I understand him better. Because sometimes when you're a child, and you cannot see your father, you don't know what he's doing, and for you just conclude to say he's been a bad father, he's not spending time with me. What if all this time that he was away, he was looking for a livelihood to make my life better? So now that I'm a father, there are days when I'm away, I've not seen my kids, but I don't know what they would think if they grew up knowing that I was away for some time. So for me, now that I'm older, I give him a lot of grace. This is a chapter that is in our past. I have a wonderful relationship, which I think it is still in the mend. We are still developing it, but we can still sit and talk and, unlike the way it used to be.
So this TV show, didn't you make the situation worse for him? Especially that you really didn't understand, at the time, what you could have been going through and what you could have been trying to do.
Yes, I think I did. I think it's after the show that I could see that despite the fact that he was gracious enough to have accepted the invitation to come and sit and have a conversation, it had a toll on him. Because you know how it is, Zambezi Magic could always run these episodes. It runs, his friends are calling, what was that with your son? What was that with your son? Until I think some time that he actually even had to go to multi-choice to look, guys, enough. Me and my son are cool. Enough. It was a very uncomfortable conversation, but very necessary. And I believe that life is like that. Sometimes you must not shy away from having uncomfortable conversation, because sometimes that's where your healing lies. And for me, I'm the man that I am because we could have that conversation. And growing up, I have a son now. At any given time, I would love to have such kind of conversations with my children, But also, it really taught me a lot about parenting and growing up to be a parent that I am today, having my own children. So, yeah.
Okay, so now just a continuation regarding your education. So when you came back from the village, you went to which school?
So when I came back from the village, I went to Lotus Primary School.
In Madras?
In Madras, yes. Then after that, I went to Southend, right next to Comesa. It was a private school from Southend. I went to Kamwala. That's why I completed. I was a head boy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so for me, issues of leadership, I think they followed me from a very, very tender age.
Yeah.
In a way, God has just seen that I had this ability in me. So yeah, I completed at Kamwala High School, completed school, did a course in production, music production, started working at a studio as a music producer. From then, an opportunity presented itself at Christian Voice. So, very funny story. So I was juggling two things. In the evenings, I was working at the studio, doing music production. Then during the day, I was working at a restaurant, at a Shima restaurant, at a Matebeto. So for me, this thing of being smart, it started a long time ago. So I would wake up in the morning, wear a suit, a tie.
I actually wanted to ask you. I mean, you've always been very consistent with your fashion and dressing.
So it started a long time ago. So I'll be going, people will be thinking I'm going to a fancy job. When in fact, when I get to that Matebeto, I'll take off my suit, my jacket, put on a t-shirt, get to the grind. Serving Shima, I was very diligent. I was very diligent at that job. But one of the things that used to happen at that restaurant is that my boss would listen to Christian Voice all the time. That's the only radio station that she would listen to. So I heard an advert on Radio Christian Voice that they were looking for presenters. Minimum qualification was a degree in mass communication. Did I have a degree in mass communication? No, I didn't. But when I just heard the advert, something in my spirit told me, this is your job. So went back home. I was living with a friend of mine who were renting like a small one-room apartment. Boniface Kapungwe, a big shout out to you, my guy. I didn't even know how to write an application letter. I told him, look, my guy, there's a job. Help me apply for a job. Applied. Christian Voice used to have buses that used to go to the farm, like kilometers into the bush. Yes, Mugeni, yes.
I remember.
So dropped the letter at post office because they used to pick up their staff at the passport office there in town. Dropped the application letter. But what I did at the production studio, what I did is that I did a demo of a radio show. So I used to be huge in collecting music. So I did boom boom back announced. I inserted that thing, a CD in the application letter. So when they received my application letter, it was funny because a lot of people were putting in CVs in there. But mine was a plain application letter with a CD. So I said, okay, look, there's a CD.
You were putting a CV and you put a CD.
A CD. So when they received my document, they said, okay, there's a CD here. Maybe let's listen to what is on this thing. They put in that CD and they heard my 15-minute radio show. And immediately, our station manager there was a guy called Mr. Cummins, some Australian guy, white guy. Listened to the demo, said, this is the guy that we're looking for. Forget the application letter, forget about everybody else
or anything.
This is the guy that we're looking for. So the following day, they called me. I didn't even have a phone. They called my friend Boniface. So I'm getting home from the Shima joint. Like, look, I got a call from Christian Voice. They want you for an interview. I said, oh, okay, cool. It was that quick. Following day, got on a bus, went to Christian Voice. It was not even a complicated interview. Got into that office. They said, look, we heard your demo. We've seen your application letter. You're the guy that we're looking for. How much do you want us to pay you? Then 800 was a lot of money for me. 800 was 8 million, right?
8 million.
It was 8 million.
It was your best.
Yes. 8 million. 8 million was a lot of money for me. No responsibilities, nothing. Said, okay, 8 million. They said, okay, look, 8 million. Then after that, we'll upgrade it. So today I have an interview. Then tomorrow.
8 million or 8,000?
8 million. Back in the days, 8,000.
Okay, 8,000 now. Okay, great.
Yes.
No, makes sense.
So today they tell me this is your job. Then the following day, all the UNZA graduates that had applied for that job come to Christian Voice. So I'm thinking, is this really my job? Why are they interviewing this?
Why they? Because one person could
So now, for them not to look like they were unprofessional, they had to subject me to a second round of interviews, presenting, reading news, production, and all those things. And guess what? I beat all of them.
Yeah.
I emerged number one from the male category. Then they picked another lady. So the two of us that were employed, I was very young. I must have been 19, 20. Yeah. That's how I started working at Radio Christian Voice. That place changed my life. It changed my life. What I am today, the knowledge that I know about radio, media, all the exposure that I have, it is because of the platform that I stood on. And to this day, look, I cannot sit on any platform and I speak ill of the kind of investment that I got from Christian Voice. So started with different shows, did the breakfast show, the drive time show, the youth program, and all manner of other programs that I did. I did about 10 years there. Then, you
were a born-again Christian. Well, this...
Yes. I gave my life to the Lord when I was very, very young, in 1996.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have anything trigger you're giving your life to?
Yes. For me, because...
Usually, I'm asking this because usually, sometimes as people,
Yeah.
we need a wake-up call
Yeah.
for us to make that kind of a decision.
Yes.
And this is why I'm asking this question.
So for me, the only person that I had as an anchor was my mother. The person that I had as a backbone was my mother. When she died, I said, look, I don't have any other person to run to. I don't have a father. I've got relatives who are taking care of me, not because they want to, but because they got my mother's properties. you understand that kind of a thing. So I said, look, if I don't have any other, then the only help that I can have is God. So hence me having that relationship quite early in my life, such that I didn't have, the luxury to mess around. I didn't have the luxury to do a lot of things that could take me away from the path that I'd chosen. So in a nutshell, it was just the dependence. So look, if God is not going to take me through this life, I don't have any other.
Yeah.
So that is what triggered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even when you saw the opportunity at Christian Voice, it's sort of like aligned with the person that you were at the time, isn't it?
Yes.
As compared to any other commercial or community station.
Funny thing is that from way back, as early as maybe 19, because Christian Voice started a long time ago, I used to listen to a lot of radio.
Yeah.
Being a radio guy, I would listen to a lot of radio, shortwave. I would listen to South African radio station, but Christian Voice was one of those radio stations when I listened to, I said, one day. And I believe there was even a time that I had a dream where I was working at Christian Voice. And coincidentally, the day that I arrived at the station, it was like a deja vu. The buildings that I had in the dream, the station, the studios.
Everything looked familiar.
It looked familiar. It looks like I've been here before.
Yeah.
So for me, it is a radio station that I grew up wanting to work for. I would listen to the legendary Panji Chipeta and so many other legends that were presenting back in the days. So yeah, it was one of those places that I'd really, really wanted to work at.
I know that you went to a theology school.
Yeah.
Can we speak about that?
Yes. So for me, I realized that God had called me specifically not to a church, but to be a media pastor.
Yeah.
So, and I've also seen how that there's always a temptation to want to deviate from what is true ministry. So for me, my going to Bible school was basically just deepen my understanding and my application in ministry. So yeah, so I did my Bible school, graduated, and of course later on started a ministry. After COVID affected, we were still a very small unit. So we are a very, very small church.
You did mass communication as well?
Yes, I did mass communication at Zamcom. Yeah.
Oh, Zamcom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What prompted that? Because I think you're already good at what you're doing.
So it was after. It's actually Christian Voice that took me to Zamcom.
Oh,
so
nice.
So they saw that I was naturally good at this thing, but I needed to add, some formal education to what I was already possessing. So did some production courses at Zamcom then. Yeah.
So something else I want to speak about. Pastor Jimmy K. You're known for very unconventional ways of looking at things.
Yeah.
You know, is that deliberate, or is it something you believe in?
So I believe that every career, every vocation has got stereotypes. And I remember back in the days when somebody would say, you're getting married to a DJ. The parents of that girl, like, a DJ. There's someone who plays music, understand? Because that's a stereotype. But they don't know that there are DJs who are business owners. They're DJs who, the only thing that, music is not the only thing that they do. They've got so many other things that they do.
Let us not even look far. I started off as a DJ.
So you see? So me being a DJ, but also me being a pastor, there's a stereotype.
Yeah.
So they think when you mention the word pastor, there's this man that they have in their mind, a man in a gown and probably maybe a round sack on their head, a man that cannot talk about certain things. And for me, unfortunately, I love to disappoint people. I don't like to be put in a box. I don't like to live by stereotypes. So I am a pastor, but I am not the kind of a pastor that you have put in a box. I am not like your pastor. First and foremost, I'm a creative. So if I'm a creative and I preach the word of God, there's a certain way that I need to come out. There's a certain way that I need to make sure that when I communicate, I can invoke emotions, I can invoke conversations and debates. So, but also, I'm just the kind of guy who just never holds back. For me, I love to say what it is and mean it.
Pastor Jimmy K, before we get into detail in terms of, you know, you being a pastor, I know that you've been ministering the last 20 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
I know there's a musical side.
Yeah.
To Pastor Jimmy K.
Yeah.
How did this start? I'm told you recorded some songs. Is this the time you're spending time in the studio, at the production studio?
So before radio, my first love has always been music. Mm-hmm. So even before starting to work in a production studio, I'm actually a professional drummer.
Oh, so I'd like to learn how to play drums.
So I play drums. So I used to be in a group called Revival Tabernacle Choir. So it was a church choir. Mm-hmm. I was one of the composers. I used to write music for Grace Revival Tabernacle Choir. Then I was one of the drummers in there. I deliberately stayed on the drums because this is a passion that I got in the village. So in the village, in the evenings, when you're not doing anything, you put a bonfire, you'll be playing drums. Mm. For me, that's one of the skills that I learned in the village. So now coming into town, that passion was still in me. But also I come from a family that is very musical. My grandfather was a man from Bulawayo. He was a saxophone player. So he came all the way from Zimbabwe. He was touring Zambia. That's how he found my grandmother. And they had a child who happened to be my mother. So music runs in the family. Yes, I've done an album. I've done some international collabos. Yeah, so I have an album to my name, yeah.
Oh, great. Have you put this music out anywhere?
You know, interesting enough, I think I'm a little bit old school.
I think you are. I am too. My research team was telling me, Pastor Jimmy K has some songs, but we failed to find the music.
No.
They've searched everywhere.
None of my music is on. And I remember back in the days when we used to release music. Uh-huh. I did my first album in 2011.
Yeah.
So there were platforms where you download the music. Yes, I uploaded them there, but I don't think those platforms do still exist to this day. There are a lot of people to this day that ask me about my album. Where can we find your music? But deliberately, I've decided to. Maybe it's high time I uploaded, my music and my content on YouTube. Maybe, yeah. But yes, I did an album. It did very well. Sold a lot of copies. I had some very nice collaborations there at Pompey, at Mag 44. I had quite a very, very good list of people that collaborated on the album.
Before we take a break, we're talking music. Your Maps has just released a song for the UPND.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Look,
have you heard it?
Yes, I have. Your Maps is my boy. He's one of those guys that I feel has changed the scene of music. Mm-hmm. Look, what Your Map has done is basically just a business transaction. Let him get his money. Let him get the paper. These regimes, they come and go, but you got to make your paper. Make it now, because music, trust me, music doesn't have very long shelf life. The creative art or the creative industry, we had the Chameleon. Chameleon was like the Yo Maps now. Mm-hmm. It was hot. where is Chameleon now? Where is his music? Where is his influence? You understand? So Wallace Yomap still has the influence. Wallace, he can do good business. Let him do good business. Get your money, my guy. Make that money.
I hosted him on my podcast, and I asked him a question about doing political songs, and he said just that.
Yeah,
he says it's a business transaction.
It's business.
As a matter of fact, he wakes up looking for money every day, and then an opportunity comes.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Get that money. Get that paper, man. Get that paper.
This is the Kenny T 101 podcast, brought to you by Yatu T Abalea Carpooling MTN everywhere you go. My guest today is Pastor Jimmy K. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. This is the Kenny T 101 podcast. Our guest today is Pastor Jimmy Kumwenda. Pastor Jimmy K, what are some of the notable differences that you see in terms of music then and now? Because I know that you're as much as you're not very active, I know that you're following everything that's happening in the music, industry now.
Look, for me, being a radio guy, a media guy, I listen to everything. Yeah. For me to have information on my... look, our music industry specifically, I think it has evolved. Back in the days, gospel music used to make a lot of money compared to secular music. I'll use the word secular very loosely, because if we go to the literal meaning of secular, it means something else. It used to make more money because you had been a Jojo Mwangaza, the late Matthew Ngosa. They used to pack Mulungushi. But nowadays, it's the other way around.
I remember those concerts.
Yeah, those concerts are Gucci, yes. But also, gospel artists would have a ready market. So they'll do church tours where they would sell physical CDs. So you go to this church, you sing, there's a congregation, they love your song. At the end of a church service, they'll zampa your CDs, you understand? Unlike secular guys, back in the days, it used to be, you go to a joint, you sing, they just give you a crate of beer, then you go, then you're looking for another joint. But now it has really changed. These young guys are making money. For me, I'm very proud of how that they have managed to make music as a business. I think that's one of the things that our secular, our gospel artists haven't caught up to. Our gospel artists are still selling CDs. The time for CDs is gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
Times have changed. Times have changed. They don't have their music on these, streaming platforms. I remember having a conversation with one of these prominent artists. He was one of my artists under my management then, Kings Malembe. He did an album, then he was selling flash discs. I said, my guy, this time is gone. You can't be using flash discs. They're using streaming platforms, which, from every stream, you're making money. So, so I think that's the difference that I've seen, where they're able to monetize their streaming platforms. They're able to monetize content. Their shows are massive. They're making good money. I think, which is a very, very good and recommendable thing for the industry. So it has grown. It has evolved. These young boys are investing. They're doing big things with their monies. Yeah.
The industry has grown. Yeah. Let's talk about your show, Real Talk.
Yeah.
I know we had it on Hot FM. We had it on Christian Voice back in the day, and I think it went on to Zambezi Magic.
Yeah.
What was that show about?
So Real Talk started as a small segment in a show called New Gen. There was a program on Christian Voice that I used to do. It was a youthful show. So I had a segment where I would have people just send real questions, because back in the days, there were certain things that were very taboo to talk about. But I said, okay, look, let's open it up. It started as a small, 20-30 minute segment where I would have somebody to come and just answer very, very, very raw situations. Within that same time, I had an opportunity to do, I think, the first show on African Magic on DSTV. Before Zambezi Magic, before anybody did that, I had an opportunity to do a TV show called The Z Gospel Show with a production company called MT Production, Tommy and Mandiva.
Yeah.
So even within that same TV show, it was a segment, and I used to have Bishop Eddie Mulenga answer questions on that TV show. Then later on, transitioned, had an opportunity to work at Hot FM. Our very good brother, K Smash, was creative director. When I started, I said, look, there's this concept that I have, which I believe that I can make a full-fledged radio show out. It's called Real Talk. I did it like this. K Smash being the kind of brother that he is, said, look, my guy, if it makes radio sense, let's do it. They gambled with it. It became an instant hit. Did that thing for 11 years. And within that 11 years, it was the first radio show concept to be transitioned into a TV show that went on to Zambezi Magic.
Yeah.
Then we went on to do a full-fledged production of about 26 episodes with the Kazadi production that went on Zizwa. So it won an award. So it is a concept that started like 20 years ago and transitioned into what it was. We were very uncensored. We would talk about a lot of different issues that people were not comfortable to talk about.
I remember there's one time you featured somebody, and it was a bit controversial, and some people were saying they were paid. I don't want to mention names because obviously their life is a bit different now.
Yeah.
So we won't get into names. But did you pay people to feature on your show?
Unfortunately, that's a perception that people have. When we were doing that show, we had a research team, and I was part of the research team. And I remember that specific episode where we had somebody that said some very bizarre things. We knocked off, had a production meeting. I said, where can we find prostitutes? I drove to North Mead, interviewed 3 prostitutes. Told them, look, there's this thing that I want done. How much do you guys get paid? They gave me figures, and in fact, when I approached them, they thought I wanted business from them. So I said, it's not that kind of. It's not that kind of. So I went on to explain to them. 3 of them said, "Okay, cool, no problem, we'll come." Following morning, when I called them to pick them up for the shoot, 3 of them backed out. But there's one lady who I went to pick up from Matero. Went to her house. Look, these prostitutes. Their life is real, bro. They are these women who on the streets are prostitutes, but they are taking care of real families. She had 2 boys who she was taking to school from the money that she was raising from the streets. So I asked her, what led you into this thing? No, my husband left me. Brought her on the show. So it was an issue where I needed to create a contrast. So there's this prominent personality who was a former prostitute. Then also there was this lady now that came and gave a perspective to bring balance to the conversation. So no, we didn't pay people, but of course we just facilitated for their movement. There's this weird story. I brought a witch doctor on the show. So the initial witch doctor who was supposed to have featured on the show, he had a client in Mumba. So he calls me, no, I can't make it. I had an emergency. I've got a client in Mumba. Niko na business. Of course, he wanted to do his thing. So I went in Kalingalinga, started looking for those posters where they just write, Nganga. I got the number, then I called this Nganga. He gave me directions, went to his joint. So this guy thought maybe I wanted to go and get charms. And So I'm explaining to this guy, I said, look, no, I want you to be my guest so that you explain to me your perspective from a witch doctor's perspective. And this guy said, no. Mizimu sizatishita alao kutoka pano if suzagwesa ndalama. But all this time, bro, that I was talking to him, I could feel a heavy presence. Like it was heavy. So, unzamchokamo bwanji mdala. He goes into the house. No, I've consulted Mizimu. Sakamba mbwede mgosepo 50 p. 50 quarter rather. So later on I said, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to come through. You to come through to be a guest. He goes into the house. The moment he just went into the house, I drove off. That's how I went to the station. I got on set the way we are. I sat. David Kazad could see that there was something wrong with me. It was like there was a heavy presence. Even in the studio, people could feel, And that's when I actually knew that these witch doctors they're not playing. Then, of course, later on, one of our search guys managed to bring a witch doctor and we managed to have an episode. So, no, we were not paying people. We just had a lot of people that were volunteering to bring their stories, some good, some sad stories,
We saw you in the newspaper very recently. Where you spoke about wives. It's okay to tell your wife about your side chick. I didn't read the story. What was that about?
So
I just saw the headline. Actually, they sent me the headline today to say this is part of what should form part of the conversation.
I featured on the breakfast show on Radio Phoenix, and we spoke about a lot of things. And one of the things that I was asked about was polygamy. whether polygamy was a sin from a biblical perspective. Then I went on to explain it from our culture, our tradition. Then I explained in the Bible how that our patriarchs, the people that wrote the Bible, lived in polygamous marriages. I went on to clarify, but specifically in our culture, how polygamy used to be done. It's not the way our guys are doing it now. Our guys, I don't know. I think we've been castrated as guys. We no longer have those guts that our fathers and our OGs used to have. Our OGs would just come home one day, say, "Look, Mama, I want to have another wife." Okay, so uyu sister owe uyu. Or if they've got a chick somewhere, they say palia panga and palia. That ka woman, that is my girlfriend, and one day I'll make that girlfriend my wife. But also in sometimes the first wife would actually even participate in the searching of the second wife, and they will live in harmony. Understand? But nowadays we have a situation where guys are scared of the women, so they are practically in polygamous situations. Alikwatagelo, alamlipidiama rentozi, musalama paki. There's even a child, there's a kaka that he has bought for that chick, and he also has this other family. And you only get to know about this situation when the guy has died. Now, the woman doesn't know what to do, Pachirilo, whether to mourn the husband that is dead, or now to start beefing with him in his death because there are children who are now claiming, the estate of the family. So that is what I was clarifying, because back in the days, polygamy was not hinged on secrecy. No, the guys were bored and they were honest. If a man has a side chick, they'll tell them, "Pale pale woman akashiwandi." And these women they would not do anything about it.
What's your take on polygamy, though?
Look, my take on polygamy is that first and foremost, polygamy is not a sin. It is not a sin. It is a lifestyle. It is a cultural practice that we've had for a very long time in Africa. And for me, I think one of the biggest problems that I have, and especially with what I call organized religion, is that it has stripped us of our identity as Africans. Such that when we talk about polygamy as an issue, people catch feelings. But look, polygamy is something that has existed way longer before you and I were even conceived. You understand? Our fathers, our great-great-grandfathers lived in very organized, harmonious, polygamous situations where 4 wives, they are living together, they're taking care of each other. But when you talk about it now, our women, they've got this masculine thing where, no, me, it's just, if you bring another wife, I'll go. It never used to be like that. And that's the reason why a lot of men are not being honest about it. Because if a man given an opportunity, a lot of men would want to have more than one. But it is because of society, it is because of organized religion that makes it sound like it's a taboo when a man wants to live in a polygamous situation. And that's the reason why a lot of guys are hiding. But if we're given an opportunity to open up, trust me, it will be a situation where, mama, paliko mzako paja. So muzazi anache get each other's phone number. So if I'm not here, nilipali uja. You understand? But we don't want to live our truth. Hence, we hide. All right? But let me bring some balance. There is an admonition in scripture where the Apostle Paul basically lays it very plain to say, look, if you must be a leader in church, you must be a man of one wife. But to say it is a sin, there is nowhere in the Bible where it explicitly says it is a sin. It's a cultural practice that was practiced in the Jewish culture, where we had when a Solomon with so many wives, so many concubines. In our African culture, it's something that has been practiced for a very, very long time. But it must be practiced with consent. Sit down with your wife. This is my culture. This is what I want to do. It must not be practiced in deception and in secrecy. Am I saying that you should do it? Absolutely not. If you want to do it, that is a choice that you've decided to leave. You understand? Because it also has its own headaches. If you can't manage one wife, what more 2 or 3? The headaches of just one and the stress of one, what more 2 or 3? So it also has its own advantages and disadvantages.
There was a time on social media we saw you and Ephraim? I know this is an old thing.
Yeah.
This question has nothing to do with wanting to bring it back to life, but it's just something that we need to speak about because it was there, and we saw, Banevas Mumba come in and sort of like calm the situation down.
Yeah.
What was the story there?
So it was a simple issue where you and I know each other. You are my big brother. You understand? I see you post something on social media, then I come in the comment section and I want to make you look bad in the presence of people. And everyone else knows that Jimmy K knows Kenny T.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't agree, why doesn't he just pick a phone and call his brother and to gain clarification? So it was that kind of a thing. I think I'd posted something on my Facebook page. Ephraim came into the comment section and he said some things that I was not happy about. And for me, I said, look, if you're going to attack me in public, I'm not going to resolve this thing privately. You attack me in public, I'll also attack you in public. But Ephraim has been a friend for a very, very long time. So it was two friends that had a misunderstanding, a public misunderstanding. Unfortunately, that thing had to be resolved by, the former vice president. We had some coffee at his house and that beef was quashed. To this day, me and Ephraim are good.
Have we learned anything from that?
Lessons are that what you see on social media, if you know somebody, it's the same thing with, for example, Reverend Walter Mambazi.
Yes.
When he saw this headline on Facebook, he was ballistic. He went ballistic. He wrote some things on Sunday. But later on, he called me. We had a conversation. He had to delete the things that he wrote because he didn't understand the context.
What did he write?
No. He just went ballistic. Hey, Jimmy has lost it. So I told him, look, call me so that you understand the context of what I said.
Yeah.
But also, the headline was a man telling his wife about his side chick is not cheating. Where is the lie in that? If you are married, you're a married man, you have told your wife that I've got a side chick. Are you cheating? You're not cheating. You've put the cards plain on the table. Muntu ulipo, but kulina mzako uja. So how is it cheating? It's not cheating. It's not deception because cheating is deception. Playing hide and seek. That is what cheating is. But if you tell your significant other to say, look, there's probably one or two. That is not cheating. And I'm sure you've seen the situation of Neo. Neo is married to 4 women, right?
I actually saw a clip of him very recently.
Yes.
Where he was explaining some things.
He married 4 women. And for him, his explanation was that, look, my previous marriage died because I was lying to my wife. But now that I've got an opportunity to marry again, I'm not going to lie to any of these women. But also, do you know that a lot of these women don't actually mind sharing? They don't.
How do you know this?
But again, these same women, they're very hypocritical because if you ask them if they can live in a polygamous situation, they'll say, no, I don't believe in polygamy. But you're a side chick to a married man. How don't you believe in polygamy? Because that particular situation is actually polygamy. There is the madam and there is you. How is that not polygamy? You understand?
I hear you.
So when you bring it to them, say, can you ladies live in a polygamous marriage? A lot of these ladies, they'll say, no, I wouldn't want to share a man. But there are a lot of women that are dating married men. What is that scenario? That is polygamy. But also, I'll ask this question. If truly God's design was that there must be one man and one woman, okay, what is the ratio of men to women?
Obviously, we've got more women than men.
More women than men, right?
Yes.
So, what is God going to do with that excess beauty of women? What is going to do with it? Are you telling me that God in his wisdom, he'll allow a situation where there is this supply and there's this demand, then he just makes this, surplus just hang?
So what you're saying, Pastor Jimmy K, is that those ratios suggest something.
Yes, they do.
That there has to be, people have to be in polygamous relationships.
Look, I think it's just nature, bro. It's just nature. Me, I've asked the question, what is that excess doing? Where is it going to go? Is God wasteful? Is God wasteful? That excess, in a way, it has to be compensated in a way. So there has to be a man of value. He's got a lot of money, but he can manage to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses in Salama Park. Ekaka here, boom, 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 boom. Those ones are taken care of. The madam is also happy as long as these chicks are not bringing trouble there. The equation is balanced. I'd love to think. I'd love to think.
We heard you, some time back, I don't know, the recent past,
Yeah.
where you said churches now are becoming, gatherings for fake people.
Yeah.
Can we speak about that?
Look, I will tell you, I think one of the biggest challenges of church now, we live in an information age. So there isn't a lot of things that you can deceive people about. But also, I think one of the biggest problem is that church is supposed to be like a hospital, supposed to be a place where people that are brokenhearted, people that have got real issues. So, for example, if somebody's a drunk and one of their biggest weaknesses is alcohol, they must be able to come to church and be able to receive ministry without condemnation. But those people, since what the church has done is that we want those people to come perfect, there's a certain picture that we want them to have when they come to church. It's very difficult for them to come in their true self. So you have a situation where on Friday they're clubbing, but on Sunday they want to present a picture of who they are not. If you're a drunk, come to church as a drunk, because God wants you to come as you are, but He doesn't want you to stay as you are. Because once you encounter the Word of God, once you encounter Him, you begin to transform from the inside out. But we don't allow people who are hurting, people who are broken, to come to church as they are. Why? Because the church sometimes can be one of the we kill our own soldiers. We are very judgmental. We are very harsh. We are very unforgiving. So it's very difficult. Why? Because there's a lot of hypocrisy.
Now, we've heard of a lot of situations where, a pastor in the church either impregnants somebody. Look, these are hypotheticals, but also these are stories we've heard.
Yeah.
Why are these wrong things happening in church? If we compare it to back in the day, church, there was minimal scandals. I don't know whether they were covering up.
No. They just used to hide them better. They just used to hide them better. Scandals in churches have always been there, but probably maybe back in the days they just used to hide their scandals better. Nowadays it's very easy for scandals to come out because there's social media, there's WhatsApp, there's what. Yeah. It's very easy, and that's the reason why, like, our parents, they would have another family. For a very long time, you don't even know that there's another family. Yeah. Only to discover when the old man has gone. But nowadays, it's very easy for you to know that there's another family, because these old men, they're not tech savvy. You just leave his iPhone there, then the madam will go through all the messages and he's caught, you understand? But in those days, we didn't have the luxury of technology. Look, a church is a gathering of human beings who are not perfect. They're not perfect. They bleed. They have feelings, they have emotions, and yes, they will make mistakes. They will make mistakes. They are not perfect. They will make mistakes. So yes, you will hear scandals of men of God that have done certain things. But I think every time that you hear that, you need to understand that is a reason why Jesus died on the cross. He died for their imperfection. Jesus didn't die for a perfect church. And that is the reason why you must not wait until you're perfect for you to want to come to God. Come as you are, but don't stay as you are. And there's this issue where I was having a conversation with a pastor friend of mine. He has a gay church member. Mm-hmm. So I was like, look, how do I go about this? I said, look, this is one of the biggest challenges that this generation of church has. You will have these brothers in the church, or you will have these ladies in the church. How do you preach Christ to them? Yes, let them come as they are, but they must not remain as they are, because homosexuality, gayism is a human condition. It is an identity crisis. You just need to align them to the identity of God, because nobody was born homosexual. There's no baby that comes out of her mother's womb and they're desiring another man's behind. No, absolutely not. It's an acquired lifestyle that we want to associate with, but that thing can be realigned, because it's a mental condition. It's identity crisis. So these are some of the challenges that we'll have to face as pastors.
Yeah, it's quite and I think you do a lot of counseling as well.
Yeah.
I realize that there's a time you made a statement that when you're a lazy man,
yeah,
she will disrespect you.
Yes.
Can we elaborate on this?
Bro, the concept of marriage, and I always tell men, back in the days, women used to marry potential. Okay? They'll see you, say, this one looks like it's going somewhere. because of how he's making his maneuvers. Women are not interested in potential anymore. Women are interested in a finished product. They are not even going to touch you, bro. It doesn't matter whether you've got a 6-pack, 10-pack. It doesn't matter what pack you have, bro. If you don't have money, women don't want to do anything with you. So if you're contemplating marriage as a young man, first put your life together. You and I, when we're marrying, our wives would naturally believe in us because they used to marry potential. So you'll be with them, you're struggling. Women nowadays, they don't want to marry problems. They don't want to walk into problems with their eyes open. They are not interested in that stuff. Bro, these women, they want racks. They want to see a man that is already well put together. It is what it is. You might want to say, no, they are materialistic. It is what it is, bro. You might want to say, no, they are gold diggers. Where are they going to dig if there's no gold? You understand? So if they must dig, there must be some gold. You understand? And usually it's broke men or men that don't have money that get touched when women are very upfront with what they want in material sense. But men that have got money, they don't have any problem spending on their women. They'll give their women their card. They'll buy them nice things. They don't have any issues. But it's those that are very stingy, that don't have money, that, no, these women, they are gold diggers. No, bro, just make your money. Because these women in this generation, they are not interested in products that are still being baked. They want finished products.
Could that be part of the reason that, usually when there's a married couple, right? Maybe when the husband stops work, usually the marriage doesn't last.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But a woman can stop work and the marriage carries on.
Bro, these women, they were not given the mandate to take care of a man. And that's the reason why you can take care of a woman for 60 years. But let her just take care of you a few weeks. Say, no, tababomba, no, batamba fi TV. Because women were not created by God to carry the burden of provision. That burden of provision was placed on a man. For them, they are helpers. You understand? So when nchito ikasira, yes, they'll pretend as though they're supplementing, they're supporting. Kansi kumbali wakushimikira, no, ndine mangulia na makabdula. Sasa benza, nwaulesi, they'll say all sorts of things. Why? Because it's within their nature. They are not meant to carry the burden of provision. So as a man, when your job ends, when you have an opportunity to make money, make wise investments. Because most of these marriages, one of the biggest reason why they break is financial struggle, because women don't know how to take financial struggle. You and I can struggle for years, but a woman doesn't want to struggle. No. So my young people that are listening to this thing, you're planning to get married, put your house in order. If it would take you until you're 40 for you to put your life together, leave that dating thing alone until you know that you're able to, you've got some money, you are well put together. Otherwise,
many years ago, what used to happen is usually the men would go to work, and the wives would take care of the home. But I think we've seen a shift. The trend now is obviously maybe both go to work. From your experience as a pastor, you get a lot of people speaking to you. You see you're exposed to a lot of these things. Is it normal for two working people who are married to share the bills in the house today?
Look,
or is it still a responsibility of the man?
I'm an old school man, and this I'll tell you. If you want to still be carrying your manhood as a man, if you don't want to give your manhood to your woman, share bills. But if you want a woman to maintain a level of respect in that home, this issue of sharing bills with a woman, that is an issue that has brought a lot of disrespect in marriages. As a man, there are fundamental bills that you must take care of. If you are still renting, rent is yours. School fees are yours. Okay, that's if two are working. School fees are yours. If your wife is also in school, you take care of her school fees. What a woman makes is not your money. And as a man, you must not even be interested to be interrogating your woman. How much have you gotten? Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Real men don't share bills with women. The money that they make, they can supplement. You understand? She can buy groceries, she can pay the maid. But the fundamental bills in a home, a man must take care of them for him to maintain a level of respect. But also there's another dynamic that I believe that this generation is not ready for. The definition of a man, before then, it was your ability to provide. But there are women that are making more money than us now. So are we ready to handle such kind of women? There are a lot of men who feel intimidated and insecure because the woman makes more racks than him. Understand? Now, just the fact that the woman makes more money than you, it does not make you less of a man. You understand? So even when your woman is making more money than you, still take care of your home. Don't even ask about her money. The day that you start asking about her money, disrespect creeps in. But also, this thing is subject. There are some couples who feel they can share bills. There are some men also, by Mario, who are comfortable by having a woman take care of them. There are men who are like that. The only thing that they bring to the table is their meat. They're good with that. You understand? They're cool with that. But I believe that every man, the pride of every man is that a man must be able to protect, to provide, and to take care of his family. That is the pride of every man. And if you're a man, you're not doing these things, I'm not going to bash you, because there are certain situations that would cause a man not to be in that position. Look, bro, if you're not doing that, you need to do what you can to make sure that you put yourself in a position where a woman will not disrespect you because you're failing to provide. It's very, very important, because that, in a way, is what validates who we are. Once you take that away, it's like you emasculate a man, and now you find that in a home you are insecure. Hey, is it because now walikotaka ka job? Is it because you're getting more money than me? Now begins to bring problems in a home. So make your racks, my guy. Make your money. Invest wisely. Do wise things with your money, because it's a very, very important ingredient in making a successful marriage.
Pastor Jimmy K, what's your take on mental health in this country?
I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
It's something that has been advocated for, but you and I don't have the luxury for this mental health issue. As a man, it's a luxury, bro.
How is it a luxury?
Look, the things that we men go through, a man by DNA is created to provide solutions. And there are a lot of times where, even when you're at your lowest, it is still your obligation to provide solutions. And there are some times that your wife doesn't even know that you're broke, but you go out there, you meet Jimmy K. From that 100, you buy bread, you buy eggs, you come home, you don't even tell her that 100 kwacha from someone. You've provided a solution. You don't have the luxury to sit down as a man and begin to mope and to cry to say, I've got mental health. My guy, a life of a man in ambulance. That is my perspective, because there's been some times where I don't feel like getting up to go for work because I'm going through a lot. But bro, if I sit back, what are my children going to eat? Because all these are looking up to daddy. They're looking up to me to provide solutions. So if I must start nursing, no, I've got mental health issues, and I begin to ask from my fellow men to feel pity for me, no, I'm going through a lot of things, that's a reason. Bro, we don't have the luxury as men to sit and mop over our problems of lost deals, broken hearts, and so many other things that we lose on a daily basis. You cry, you keep on moving. That is my take. But my other take, I would want to, sympathize with some of our brothers who are probably going through things that would involve them going for counseling. If you do have the luxury, go for therapy, go for counseling. For some of us, we don't have that luxury. So ambulance. But for you, if you've got luxury for therapy, go. It has helped a lot of our brothers. But also, Chinama is a good place. And I know it has got this stigma. They provide solutions. Sometimes I know a lot of brothers that, went through a lot of things that, got them to a certain place. They were taken to Chinama, they were treated, and they're good now. So there are different places where you can go to. And sometimes just have a good tribe of brothers that you're accountable to, brothers that you can talk to. One of the biggest things, for me, I think one of my biggest strengths that I have is that, Kenny, if I don't have money, I want money for a bag of meal. And somehow God gives me an impression that call Kenny and I'll tell you, bro, I'm not good. Tumina kote 100 kwate nguleko unga. But there are a lot of brothers who keep and internalize things, you know. By the time you're getting to learn about their issues, for some of them it's too late. So for me, I would advise, if you're going through some things, have a tribe of brothers who you can talk to. It can be one, it can be two, but at least let somebody know that something is happening in your life. Because a problem shared is a problem solved.
In a marriage, Pastor, should a man tell his wife everything?
No. Why?
Yeah, because she's your wife.
No, bro. No. There are certain things to this day that you
Why?
and I will go to our graves with them. These women, they don't know, and they must never know. Why are you telling your wife everything?
Should you declare all the money to your wife?
No. Why?
She's your wife.
No, you shouldn't. Even her, she must know that you shouldn't declare all the money.
Why?
Bro, there are certain things. Bro, there are certain things which, for example, if you wanted to buy your wife a car, does she need to know to say this money that this guy is buying me a car, it was from that deal that he made? No, they're just certain deals which you declare what you need to declare. Certain money, you're able to pull surprises. You're able to pull certain moves. She doesn't need to know to say this man is a 100 kwacha man. No, that there must be an element of surprise in your finances as a man. All right. But also there must be a level of transparency. She needs to know what is important. Your investments, where you've put what money, that is very, very important. But also there's just certain money that she doesn't have to know. Because there are certain moves as a man that you must be able to pull where you don't need permission. Because when you declare, there are certain women that would want you to get permission for you to spend that money. Wakaona ka notification kapita, boom, impia shire kuisesh. Obvious mwachiwa kumahuli. Mwaya kuloji. There's just certain money that you must have the liberty to spend. But also even just finances in a home. Your woman must have a separate account. You must have a separate account where you've got the liberty to do what you want to do with your money. Even her must have an account where she must have the liberty. Now, imagine a situation where your wife wants to do nails and she must say, no, can I withdraw some money for me to go and do? No, let her have her own account where she can do what she wants to do. She wants to buy you kaptula namas tokens. She must say, no, never nishitoko withdraw impia. Mishitoko ka vest for Valentine's Day. No, there must be money where she must have the liberty to spend. So, no, it's not all the monies that your madam must know. But also, there's this flip side. Bro, there are these women who come into our lives because of what we have. You understand? Huh? Yeah. They know that Kenny T is an already made man. And do you know that there are certain men that have died or they've been killed by their wives because they want to inherit properties? But also there are certain women who just want to marry, say, once we divorce, we'll share half and half. You understand? So there are just certain things which you as a man, you must have your stake to protect, because there are men who have lost everything through a business that we call marriage. Marriage can be a good business. Marriage can be a very bad business. So sometimes protect what you need to protect. Declare what you need to declare. It's not everything that you must declare.
Let's speak about football.
Yeah.
I'm speaking about this because it's stories that we've heard. From your perspective as a pastor, Pastor Jimmy K, it's okay for someone's wife, a woman, to be going out to watch football in these pubs like we men do?
No, it is not okay.
But it's okay for a man to do it?
Yes, of course. For a man, it's your place of networking. Bro, this concept that men and women are the same, what a woman can do, a man can do, it's flawed. And I don't know where we're getting this concept from. You understand?
Yeah.
So from time immemorial, there are certain things that were very exclusive to women, but also there were certain things that were exclusive to men. Men would meet, discuss, have a good time, come back. But now we have a situation where we have women who, you're actually even competing. Hey, what time are you getting home? A man is getting home and is beginning to ask his woman, where are you? Bro. That is not supposed to be the case. And also, this is what differentiates between a wife material and just girlfriend material. Because there are women who you even know when you're dating them, say, this one is just.
So you're telling me there are women who should not be married or who are not wife material?
There are a lot of them.
What is wife material and what is not?
So, wife material, there's a virtue that a woman has. And every single man, at the point at which you meet a woman, you will not say, this is a woman that I want to procreate, raise my children with, because she carries certain virtues and certain values. You understand? One of them is that this is a woman who is comfortable with not wanting to be seen everywhere. You understand? You want to be seen everywhere. You want to be in every party. What time are you going to anchor and take care of your home? Because between a man and a woman, even from time immemorial, men were hunters. Men would go months on end to look for food they bring. Now imagine a man has gone and a woman was also left because she's at granddaddy's. Who's going to take care of the home? So a wife material is a woman who has certain virtues. And trust me, these ladies, I will tell you, when we meet you, we know. You know what it is. We know what it is. This one, girlfriend material. This one, I can wife. And that's the reason why a lot of women, no, he's been dating me for a long time. He's even put a ring. Am I the Lord of the Ring? Why is he not marrying me? It is because we have seen to say, look, if we bring you Panyumba, it's going to be trouble. Because you also want to go and watch Arsenal. I'm coming home. I don't find a cooked meal. I'm beginning to do things that you're supposed to be doing. You've left the kids with the maid and all that. But also there are women, very good women who, for them, they're grounded. They're coming from good families. They want to take care of a home. They want to take care of a family. Those things, it's not an issue. If you tell them not to go, it's not an issue. If you tell them to sit at home, it's not an issue with them. And it's not weakness. And this is what I want women to understand. Feminine energy is not weakness. Men love women who are soft. Not these women that we have who are very macho. No, because you have gone, even me, I need to go. What you can do, I can do. We're not interested in that energy. I don't want to come back home to that kind of energy. I was with Avena Kenny T, Kuba with that masculine energy. I must come back home and I should find that energy. No, bro, I want to come back home. No, my wife is so, baby, how was your day? Takes off your jacket. No, there's a warm. Not you're nagging me, you are talking on top of your voice. No man wants that kind of energy. So ladies, tone down. Bring back that softness. Men love the softness. And I know a lot of women, you've been hardened by a lot of these guys out here because they have broken your heart and all. But the bottom line is that men love feminine women. It's a compliment. It's not weakness. A man must be masculine. A woman must be soft. That's why man and man are, hey boy, we don't want to do that.
Pastor Jimmy K, I'm asking this question because I know that you're usually counseling a lot of people, church and otherwise. What do you think is the number one cause to the many divorces that we're seeing now? The other day I was joking with a friend of mine and he said, obviously people have problems and this is nothing to do with demeaning people who divorced, who have divorced. People have different reasons, and sometimes it becomes so toxic that you need to get out. And it's the right thing to do. But we're saying the rate of divorces have gone so high that if the DJs that play at weddings also played at divorce parties, they'll make a lot of money.
That's a good one.
What would be the number one cause? What are the biggest causes that couples should avoid? And is social media does it play a role in what is going on now?
Social media, I think, has contributed a lot because of the aspect of comparison. Because a lot of women, they always think that the grass is greener. They are watching these reels. They are thinking, how I wish I was in a marriage and in a relationship like that. But the main causes, I think they've been very consistent. Number one, we've spoken about financial difficulties.
Yes.
In this age, finances are a very huge factor to divorce, the rates of divorce. Infidelity is another cause of divorce. Then family interference. If a couple does not know how to handle family influence, it's very, very easy for them to break apart. Let me talk about infidelity. And I'll give a comparison between how our mothers and our grandmothers used to handle issues of infidelity. They understood the nature of a man. Our mothers, our grandmothers understood to say, if my man steps out, has sex with another woman, it doesn't mean that my husband loves this woman. For them, they had pressure, they needed to bust one, but they still love their family. That's the nature of a man. You might want to disagree, or you might want, no, where is the biblical context? But me, I'm telling you what it is. Sex to a man and sex to a woman, it's two different things. For a woman, sex means intimacy. It means connection. And that's the reason why when you hammer one, a woman will start asking you, so what are we? And you are confused. What do you mean, what are we? For you, in your mind, you're like, me, I just came to just bust one. But for a woman, since for her psychologically sex is about intimacy and connection, she's thinking there's already a relationship here. So we look at things differently. And since our women do not know and understand to say, look, when a man steps out, it doesn't mean that he doesn't love his family. There are a lot of women, there are a lot of men who they've stepped out of their matrimonial home, but they still respect and hold dear their families. But women do not understand that because for them they feel, no, what is it that he saw in another woman? No, men are like that. A lot of men are like that. So our mothers and our grandfathers understood that. And that's the reason why if our grandfathers went out and they came back, they were still cool with it and they raised the families. To this day, we've got a place where we can take our children to see their grandparents. But our wives now, they don't understand that aspect. And women are causers of more divorce than anything. Because women, they don't have the wisdom to navigate issues of infidelity.
So we're going to place this on the women.
Bro, I will tell you, because it's them that make a decision to leave. But before you make a decision to leave, if there's infidelity within a house, there's first and foremost, there's a provision of forgiveness, there's a provision of counseling. There are a lot of things that you must go through. But any woman, ask any woman, they'll tell you, me, the day that I'm just going to know that he's cheating on me, I'm walking away. You understand? So, yes, I do admit and acknowledge that there's a lot of pain that comes with infidelity, and especially on the women. But infidelity can still be resolved within a home. There is still marriage beyond infidelity. Provided that you are a couple that is grounded, a couple that is accountable to your church, a couple that is accountable to counselors, you can still sit down and say, okay, look, let this thing be resolved. But also there must be proper repentance from the man. You understand? Okay, now anchikata. Maybe nchinje misango, you understand? You know, there must be repentance to show it to your lady to say, look, it's not what it used to be. I'm a changed man. I'll be a better person. But
we all make mistakes after all.
Yes, we all make mistakes. But a lot of women, they're the first ones to walk away. They're the first ones to walk away. They don't want to sit down and resolve their matrimonial issues. A lot of women, they don't have the tolerance that our mothers and our grandfathers have for infidelity. And that's the reason why there are a lot of marriages that break apart because of that lack of tolerance. Because marriage is about tolerance, Kenny T. You can't survive a marriage if you are a no-nonsense person. No. It's about tolerance. It's about forgiveness. It's about deciding to say, look, this is the person who I have chosen and decided I'm gonna live for the rest of my life with. Yes, he will make mistakes. He will err. But at the end of the day, this is my man or this is my woman. But also reversed. I know men who are forgiven their cheating wives. Understand? Although it's very difficult for a man to do that. It's a little bit difficult.
It's difficult, but also I've also heard.
Yeah. But in most cases, I would not encourage you to forgive her.
What do you mean? It's okay for a woman to forgive a man, but it's not okay for a woman, for a man to forgive his woman.
Yeah. So I'll get back to the implication of sex for a man and for a woman. For any normal woman, for a woman, a normal woman, for her to start undressing for another man, it's not easy. At the time at which this woman starts having a sexual affair with another man, it means that emotionally she already left you. She's no longer your woman. And for you to bring her back, it will be very difficult. And that's the reason why I'm saying, if that is you, my brother, your woman is being hammered by another man. It didn't start now. Emotionally, she has drifted. But for you to bring her back to yourself, it's going to be a much more difficult task than bringing back a man, amnapondoka, back to his... For us, at any given time, I would just make up our mind. And that's the reason why these ladies, they even get surprised. No, why are you not answering my phone? A man has just made up his mind to say he wants to work on his situation at home. Yeah. I could block, I understand. Because it's as easy as just making a decision for men. You understand? We can easily make up our minds. Look, I want to focus on my family. This thing is over. But for women, once she goes down that road, bro, she's gone. In most cases. Yes, she might say, no, I'm sorry. She might say all these things, but she'll never be the same. Yeah, but look, there are men that have forgiven their women. I do give you kudos, but in most cases, it's very difficult. The implication of infidelity and cheating on a man and a woman is very different. And again, I will say this because you guys like coming for me. Is he encouraging it? I'm not encouraging it, but it's happening. It's a reality of the world that we're living in. But for me, my perspective is to give you what you must do when it happens or what it is.
Pastor Jimmy K, as we wind up, how important is, church, going to church, and also, just in relation to families, people who are married, they've got children. How important is it for them to be going to church?
Church, for the longest of time, has been what has preserved our society. There are a lot of us who, if it was not for church, we don't know where we could have been. But also, it is very important because we come from God. You and I were created in the image of God. So if you want to fully express yourself, if you want to become the person that you want to become, it's good that you realign back to who created you. Any man who wants to express themselves to their fullest of their potential, it's important that you always realign back to your maker. So it could be somebody that is watching this and certain things are happening in a certain way that you feel they're not right. Maybe it's high time that you realign your life, you realign your family to your God. Don't only go to church, but have a personal relationship with God.
Very important question before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Are you married? How many kids do you have? I know you spoke about it in bits and
Yeah,
pieces.
I've been married for 15 years. I've got two beautiful kids, a boy and a girl.
What's the secret? 15 years, it's a long time.
Perseverance, tolerance, forgiveness, but also choosing to walk the walk. Yeah, at any given time, we could have chosen to walk away, but we've chosen to stick to this walk.
We've got a question for you, Pastor Jimmy K, from our previous guest. The question is, so what's something you've learned about success or happiness in the past 5 years?
Success is relative, but also success is not a destination. So every step of the journey, enjoy everything that you achieve. So for some of you, you're preserving, say, I'll be happy when I have. No, it's not a destination. So Lesa, if God has blessed you with $5,000 today, enjoy it. Be happy, be content, and proceed. So it's a journey. It's not a destination. Then happiness. Happiness is very selfish. That's what I've come to learn. It's very selfish. There are a lot of people that do certain things to say, I'm looking for my happiness. There are certain women that have left their marriage and say, no, I want to be happy. You're being selfish because you're leaving your home because you're chasing for something that only benefits you. It's only happiness if whoever is around you is happy, whoever is around you is succeeding, whoever is around you is improving, they're becoming better. Yeah. But this thing of pursuing, say, no, me, happiness, me, I think it's very selfish.
Pastor Jimmy K, you've got question 1, 2, and 3. Which number are you picking for the next guest?
3.
Great. Question 3 reads, if tomorrow you woke up with a totally new skill, what would you want that skill to be and how would it change your life? So this is a question from Pastor Jimmy K to our next guest. Pastor, I'd like to thank you so much for taking time to sit with us and have a conversation on the Kenny T One-on-One podcast.
I'm honored. Thank you very much. This has been a wonderful conversation. And thank you very much. I mean, you're a legend in the game. And for you to have called me to come and sit and share some of these thoughts, I'm truly, truly humbled.
Great. We'd like to thank our guest, Pastor Jimmy K. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Yatu Tea, Abalea Carpooling, MTN, everywhere you go. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Kenny T One-on-One podcast. My name is Kenny T. Back again next week, same place, same space.